Today's topic is limiting reagent, or we can also call it as limiting reactant. This is mostly used in word problems, right? Many of these equations comes with this, but we have to find the limiting reactant, the limiting reagent. Simply, if I take the limiting reagent, right, where the reaction is occurring, the reactant that is completely used up is only limiting reagent. Now let me take an example to clarify this. Reaction says 1 carbon plus 1 oxygen is reacting to form carbon dioxide. There's one thing that specifically we have to know under this. Here I'm gonna see now here I'm gonna see out of these two reactants which reactant is going to act as limiting reagent. Completely used up in the reaction mixture. To find that, first of all, I need to know the simplest ratio. So to find the simplest ratio, we have to find the simplest ratio. This is the equation to find the simplest ratio. Now simply they have given in the question, think of like the question says, carbon is 5 mole and oxygen is 2 mole. To find the simplest ratio, right, we have to know the number of moles of A. That means here the A is carbon, so number of mole of carbon is 5 mole divided by coefficient of A. Coefficient in the sense this. What is the coefficient of A? 1. So I get the ratio as 5 mole. Here the number of moles of oxygen is 2 mole, and the coefficient is 1. So I get 2 mole. Now out of these two we have to find which one has the simplest ratio. Now this is 5 mole and this is 2 mole. Therefore definitely this is the simplest ratio. They have simplest ratio. We conclude that this is the limiting reagent or limiting reactant, completely used, no remaining. But carbon is going to be remaining, balance. There will be balanced carbon, right? So we call it as excess reactant. Now let me show an example under this. Let's do this question. 2H2 plus O2 will form H2O. This is the equation. Now they have given 5 moles of H2 and then 2 moles of O2. So to find the simplest ratio, we have to divide the moles by the coefficient. And here two mole divided by 1. Here I get 2.5 and here I get 2. So the simplest ratio is 2. So this is the limiting reagent or limiting reactant, and this is the excess reactant. Now we knew this is the limiting reagent. That means it is completely used up. Completely used up. This is excess reactant. That means remaining. Now we knew from the question that 5 moles of H2 is reacting with O2, and only this is completely used and this one remains. Now to find how many moles are remaining, right, we have to take the ratios. That is, the ratio of limiting reagent is to the ratio of excess reagent. Now limiting reagent is oxygen and excess reactant is hydrogen. Here the coefficient of oxygen is 1 is to coefficient of hydrogen is 2, and the mole of oxygen used is 2 mole, and we don't know the mole of excess reactant used up, mole of hydrogen used. To find that, we have to cross multiply, and here we get X is equals to 4 mole. Therefore, this confirms that out of 5 mole of H2, only 4 mole is used to react to form H2O. And of course, to find how many moles are left, we can subtract 5 mole minus 4 mole, which is equals to 1 mole. 1 mole is left. So this is very simple. To find the limiting reagent, first of all we have to find the simplest ratio, and the one with the simplest ratio is the limiting reagent, and the rest are excess reactants. So this is the method to find how many moles are being used in the excess reactant to form the reaction. So that's the end of this video. Stay tuned for the next updates.